Today, we are back in my reading journal where I will be doing a May reading wrap up and setting up for the month of June. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Tracy and I am a girl with plans. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this video, and don't forget to hit that like button if you find that you enjoy it. All right guys, so we're back in my reading journal, and being that we only have 1 month left before July, I'm not going to go through the whole journal. I'll just do a mid-year recap and do a flip through of all my challenges and things like that next month. This month, I'm just going to kind of tell you my favorites, my overall opinions of the books I read, and then we're just going to do a setup. So let's start with my bookshelf. So this is where we are. I have read 36 books, y'all. My goal was 40. I should hit that this month. So I will have hit my end of the year goal by halfway point of the year, which means I might need to add another page in here, which is fine. I do know that my reading is probably going to slow down come the fall, just because I'm going to be extremely busy with work and I'm probably not really going to want to feel like reading in the evenings. But we'll see. But I might just use some washi tape and tape something in the middle instead of using pages. I mean, I have plenty of pages in the back, but I might want to try to keep it together. We'll see when we get to that point. All right, so I need to update this. So let me grab a mild liner. Let's see. For May, maybe I should do a more pinker one than matte pink. Like a more pinker. I don't know if that's a real word or not. Let's see. Maybe something like this. This is like a pinkish orange, I think. We'll see what it looks like once it goes on the page. All right, so I read 6 books this month. Okay, that's better. All right, and I read a total of 3,097 pages and 10 hours and 26 minutes of audio. So 5 books were about 3,000 pages. I read some very long books this month, and then 1 audiobook that was 10 hours long. I'm actually halfway through another audiobook, but I haven't hit the halfway point yet. So I'm filming this on the 31st. So I'm not sure where it'll end up be. I guess I'll just go ahead and count it in June at this point. I'm not really a stickler for comparing month by month. I'm more just trying to keep an annual log. And it's just easier to add it up when you do it month by month. All right, so now let's go ahead and fill in all of these stats. So all of my physical books were ebooks. And then I had 1 audiobook and no actual physical book. So I guess my ebooks weren't physical books, but you know what I'm saying. So this is where I'm going to just repeat my number of pages and minutes. And then I can't remember what I said. I know I left that blank. So I was going to do days read. I don't want to repeat the number of books and hours. I guess I can do total read. So total books 6. Days read 27. Okay, so there we go. I have to keep flipping back and forth because I can't remember the things that I keep track of sometimes. So yeah, I'm not there yet. All right, so now we're going to talk about my favorites. So I have standouts, monthly standouts. We'll do monthly standouts because they're not all favorites. I don't really know what to call this. All right, so it's my favorite, least favorite, longest, shortest. So, okay. And then over here, so before I get into that, I had 3 5 stars, y'all. 3 5 stars. We'll get into that in a minute. I had 2 4 stars and 1 3 star. Can y'all believe that? I also had 1 book that I did not finish, but I'm not going to put it in the graveyard yet. So I hate to say, I'll say DNF and I'll say for now. And that was the book about Murder Your Employer. I'm just not in the mood to read it right now. So when I had gotten I read like 10% and then I had only gotten 4% further than that in like 2 days. I'm like, yeah, I'm not in the mood to read that. All right, so there we go. And we're going to talk about the books I read. I'm going to show you. So here are the books I read. So the first book I read was When the Moon Hatched. That one was, I started reading that on the 30th, like the last day of April. So it took me about 5 days to read it. This book I gave 4 stars. And I gave it 4 stars because I thought it was better than some of the books I had given 3 stars to. But I didn't like love it, but I'm going to read the next book. I really liked the beginning, which is hilarious because a lot of people didn't like the beginning as much and they really liked like the middle part and everything like that. I'm the opposite. I love the beginning. I kind of wish it went that route a little bit longer. I didn't enjoy the middle part and I really didn't enjoy the romance. If you can call it that. I got annoyed a lot during that. I got bored, not necessarily annoyed. I got bored. So yeah, I still gave it 4 stars because I really liked the beginning and then I started becoming intrigued, probably at about the 60% mark. So that's what kind of leaned me to 4 stars. And like I said, then I started comparing it to a lot of my 3-star reads. Like Got the Canna was 3 stars and this was so much better than that. So it's like I'm almost getting in trouble with myself because of what I previously ranked books. So I am going to change up how I rate things. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So then I read the first 3 books in the Kindred's Curse saga. So it's Spark of the Everflame, Glow of the Everflame, and Heat of the Everflame. All of those were 5 stars. Every last one of those was 5 stars. This is probably one of the best series I've ever read. I will probably end up purchasing this series at some point. Right now it's a little bit pricey. And I'm reading it on Kindle Unlimited, but it is so good. A lot of people talked about how slow the first book was. I love the first book. I actually think the first book might be my favorite. There was so much character building in the first book that I was just so invested in all of the characters in the first book because of the strong character building. The world's building kind of takes place throughout, which I also really appreciate because like too much world building at one time sometimes can become super overwhelming, especially in a new world. And there is like continual worlds building within each book. So like if you don't really need to know about that part of the world, you don't learn about it until you need to know about it, which is something that I really actually enjoy. This is a really, really slow burn. I hesitate to even call it romantasy, but I guess it's part of romantasy because you have a female main character and a male main character, and you're just rooting for them to go ahead, kiss already. But it is a slow burn, which I am here for. That's my kind of book. I highly recommend this series. I cannot recommend it enough. I love every single thing about it. Basically, you follow the main character, Diem. So you have like the mortals, and then you have the descendants of the gods. And so they just call them like the descendants. And they're the ones that have magic. And because they have magic, they also have all the power in the world. So your mortals are kind of considered the less than. And most of them are the ones that are like living in hardships, like living in poverty and things like that. It's like night and day between the mortal city and then where the descendants live. And like your descendants are your kings and things like that. So like that in itself is extremely fascinating. And of course, because you have that division, you have the kind of animosity and hatred between the two groups of people. And Diem is kind of, because she's like living in the mortal world, she definitely is kind of, she does not like the descendants. Descendants had done things that have taken some things away from her. But it's kind of her internal battle among the books, especially the first book and the second book about, she starts kind of learning about the descendants by meeting some decent descendants, and her views start changing. So then it's kind of like a conflict with herself about choosing sides or making peace. And it's fascinating. And there's a lot of like worldly politics and things like that in there. And I just ate it up. Lock Every Door. I listened to that book. This book was because it is part of the Buzz word reading challenge where you had to do the word every, and this one was one of the ones I found. It was okay. I think the ending or like the twist I didn't like. It was just like whatever. So I think that made me dislike the book, and that's why I went 3 stars. I was kind of into it for like the first half of the book, maybe, or audiobook, until maybe like the 60% mark, and then it just went. These kind of remind me of the Frida McFadden books, which I'm also not a fan of because I really didn't like any of the twists in that one. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know everybody else like raves about the twist, and even if it's like a shocking moment, like even this one was like shocking, I just didn't like the twist, and it ended up ruining it for me. And then this final one, which I haven't even put my stickers down yet, it was The Reaper. It's the second book in the Dark Verse series. I will say the biggest issue I had wasn't with the book. It was that I read the first book in this series. Where is it? The Predator, back in February. So that's like 3 months. And I kind of had forgotten what, like the specifics of what had happened at the very end. And it picks up immediately where it ended. It was like, and I was like, oh crap, I don't know what happened. So I kind of had to like go back and try to remind myself what had happened. But then I didn't really want to reread the book. So I was lost, but I will say the first probably 10% did drag a little bit in this book. But after that, it was amazing. It really picked up. I really like this series. It's a mafia series. They call it like a dark romance. And the romance is definitely like the intensity and will they, won't they between the two main characters, which is a hate to love, enemy to lovers type, trope, is a major part of the story, but there's other things going on because we are in the mafia world, which keeps it kind of action, fast-paced and things like that. And that's where I kind of get the pickup. So I really enjoyed it from that point forward. So I did give this one 4 stars. So yeah, my overall ratings was 4.3. So my average star ratings was 4.3, y'all. That is high. That's the highest it's ever been for me. So yeah, and then out of my TBR, I did try to listen to a Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I didn't finish that. I'm not putting that on the DNF because I literally started listening to it and didn't finish it, but I really did like the audio because they were like, she was like a reporter and she was leaving voice messages, and there was actually voice messages in the audio version. So I think I'm going to try that one again. Again, I just don't think I'm into it. Okay, so my monthly standouts. My favorite, I'm going to put the first book of the Kindred Curse Saga. I know most people like the second book a little bit more, and I will say I really enjoyed the second book, but that first book got me hooked so much. I think I have to say it's that. And I will just say, I think the first book is like a 4.2 on Amazon with like 10,000 ratings. The second book is like a 4.7 and the third book is a 4.5. So I am not the only one that loves this series. My least favorite was Lock Every Door. The longest was the third book in the Kindred Curse Saga. It is Heat of the Everflame. Burn of the Everflame is the last one, and I am actually going to get an advanced reader's copy of that one, y'all. I'm super excited. So I should get that this month. The shortest was that probably The Reaper. Yeah, The Reaper. And before I do want to show you guys something. So I do these little small overall thoughts of the book here. And I have been doing some like monthly things here about certain books. I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. I'm going to do something else, but I'm going to start next month, I think. Look, I'm doing series pages. So for the Kindred's Curse Saga, this is like some of my favorite quotes here. This is book 1, book 2. book 3, and then I'll do book 4, and this is going to be my overall. I didn't decorate this heavy because I might need more boxes. And then here's a dark verse. Here we go. So I got book 1 and book 2. And then Kingdom of Lies, I'm starting book 4 here. So I just kind of wanted to show you what I was doing there, just in case you were interested how I'm doing it. But I think my favorite character, being like I gave the first 3 books in this series 5 stars, it's going to have to be the main character. It honestly is probably both of them, the female main and the male main, but I think Diem, she's just strong, and like, I love me a strong female lead character. Okay, so that I think is it. So like I showed you guys, I have been doing these here. I think, like, I got ready to do When the Moon Hatched, but I think I'm going to try to take this off, and I think I'm going to just do May here. I'm going to have to bust out the undo real quick, because it's more decorating than it has been actually, like on these pages. I feel like I don't have enough, because this is a B5. So this is a larger, I'm going to have to put a sticker there. This is a larger journal, and I probably will be using a B5 next year too. I really like the B5, but what I'm going to do while this dries, I'll just explain to you why I'm not going to be doing the 2 pages in the middle. I think I'm going to kind of revamp this. I think I'm going to still do a 4-page monthly spread, but I'm going to revamp this to get a little bit more into this. Like I'm going to do my favorite book, my least favorite book, and why. So I want like a little bit more of an explanation in here. So I think I'm going to move this to one of these pages. And then for my monthly recaps here, or my summaries, I want it to be a little bit different. And I'm not going to set it up in advance. You'll see this during my June recap. But I think I'm going to start doing 2 books to a page. But I'm not going to hold myself to that if I need a single page. Now, I have until here. That's all the pages I have left given myself because of the series reviews. I guess I should have started the series reviews further back, but it might be enough. So we'll see. But I think what I'm going to do is get a little bit more in depth with my review here. So I'll like write a little, I don't do synopsis, because my thought is if I really want to know the synopsis, I can just go to Goodreads or Amazon or one of those and read the synopsis of the book. My synopsis is probably not going to be much different. And that synopsis is probably going to be, like I said, a little bit more thorough than what I would do. So I'll just kind of give my overall thoughts on the book. I'm still going to do my star ratings, the spice ratings, pages and stuff like that. But I'm going to get a little bit more in depth and talk about, like, maybe rate the plot, the characters. I think, it's like Carpile or something, or Cawpile, Cawpile is what some people do. And it's like characters. I don't know. I have to think about what they all are because I think it's on my phone. So I might do something like that, but I don't think I'm going to do it all. So I'm going to kind of start like rating different parts of the book. So that way my real rating is going to be reflective of some of that. So I'll do like the plot, the characters, my overall feeling. I don't want to say action and adventure because that's not going to do that. I might write about the pacing, but I don't know if that's going to be in my review, because even though like I felt like the first book here was slow paced, I felt like it needed to be slow paced. So I'm going to actually be doing more. So I will be adding stickers and decorating it and stuff like that here. So I'm hoping to get 2 books per page. So then that is why I'm going to change things up for my monthly. And I might, I'll probably put some book covers. When I talk about my favorite book and my least favorite, I'll probably use the covers and decorate some of that. But I'm going to do a little bit more of that here instead of just dedicating book spreads like this. Because I kind of just run out of things to say on some of these books. Let's be honest. All right, so I do need to go ahead and set up this, and we are going to speed through most of it. Yay, you're probably celebrating. So I want to do this because everybody associates books and coffee together. I don't drink coffee, but I just think it's a cute scene and I want to do it. So I was using this book for something else, came across this, and I'm like, hey, I need to put this in my reading journal. So I have 2 sets here and here. So we're going to use some of these, and that's where we're going to go from there. So I'm also going to bring out my stamps. I really loved this, so I'm going to do it again, y'all. And I really like the boxes. Like I said, I'm doing this a little bit different, so I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So we might be talking through that a little bit. But what I might do is break apart the star ratings so I can see them here, because I keep flipping back and being like, what did I rate that one? Like, that's 4 stars. I haven't colored it in yet, but I keep flipping back and it'll be nice to see it here. All right. So the first thing I have to do is draw my calendar for the month. So I'm going to do that. I'm not even going to speed that up. I'm just going to like cut and then come back and I'll be done. There we go. So I've gotten my little system up. I do 4 and 4. And that makes it perfect for this. So I need to do the date. So I could just do that. I kind of want to do that. Colors. So being this is like peach and browns and greens, I have that color. I have that color. I have that color. So before I start, I'm going to put some stickers down. Let me make sure I'm in frame. So with this being a big B5, I need to make sure I'm in frame. Okay. I kind of want a sticker up there, which actually this little one right here will be perfect. All right, so there we go. I have florals now framing the page. I can add boxes just like I did before. I have a whole box of neutral boxes. So, I mean, a whole book of neutral boxes. So I can definitely use some of those. So much smaller. So like I could do that one, but then she's like right here. I don't want the coffee sign. That's like right there. I want this to look like a completely separate, different bar. But I do think I want this here. right, guys, there we go. I really liked how this turned out. Super cute. Of course, this is very similar to last month's. The main difference is how I'm going to be using it. So this is going to be the same. I put an extra box here. This is where I will put my very first ARC, advanced reader copy. So I will put that here. This is where I'm going to do my reading log. And for those of you that are new to my channel, what I do on this calendar is I use the dot markers. I don't think I have any near me at the moment, but I will put a dot on there and I will color code it. I will color code all the books that I'm reading here and then put the corresponding color here on the dates I'm reading it. So that way I can actually see when I'm reading it, which makes it easier when I flip to my reading log where I write the time spent reading that particular book. This is where I'm keeping track of the number of books read, number of pages, number of minutes, and then this will be an overall review where I will total this number up and then count the number of days. I'm going to have a DNF little one, and then this is just an extra one for now. And then new, instead of just listing how many 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, I'm going to list the books I gave those stars to. I'm hoping this will be enough. I'm probably just going to have to write small, but it should be okay. Or who knows, maybe I'll get fancy and do like little small book covers. I think in the end, it's going to come down to how many books I read, and then I'll do my average rating there. And then this is this. So I'm going to have my favorite. I'm going to write the word favorite, and then I'll probably put the book cover here, pencil in my rating, because my favorite book might just be a 4-star. We don't know. It doesn't have to be a 5-star. My least favorite could be a 4-star or 3.5-star if it's a really good month, but I will put least favorite here, write that, and then do that one. Or if it's not really, if I don't want to use, maybe I'll say lowest rated or something, maybe highest rated, lowest rated. I don't know. This will be my favorite character or my favorite moments, whatever. We'll see as I read the books what I want to capture. And this will be a little box for longest book, shortest book, because I really do like that. And then here is where I'm going to put some quotes. That's why I use this sticker. It says, I don't need an inspirational quote. I need coffee. Mine should say, I don't need coffee. I need an inspirational quote, because I don't drink coffee. And then I did want to leave some space because this is the first time I'm doing this. I'm not sure what I may want to add. I might get into like a little bit of a creative thing and want to add something else here. So I'm leaving it blank. So basically, I am just trying out some new things this year. This is my first time doing a reading journal in a, oh, I cut some of the page here. That's what the problem is. In a bullet journal. So I have a little bit more freedom. I had done a discbound system before. And for some reason, even though you can be just as creative in a discbound system, I kind of just used it more in a basic way of just reading tracking. So this is my first time kind of doing stuff like this, and I'm having fun, but I'm trying to see what works so that way next year I can really make my ideal reading journal from the get-go. So yes, I do want to mention that I've done something a little bit crazy, and I started a second YouTube channel where I will be doing some like reading recaps, some TBRs and things like that. It's not going to be a channel that I put a lot of videos up on. I just didn't want to bog down this channel with that type of content. I will have it linked down below just in case you are a bookish girl and like that kind of stuff. I will still have my reading journal setups here, just because I feel like it is more helpful on this channel, but on that channel I'll be going more in depth about the books that I read. So yeah, if that interests you, then definitely check that out. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.